and share my screen. Okay, so yesterday we have created an EC2 instance. So we have gone way forward. So let's step back and discuss the basics. Okay, and there is a reason why we have uh, sorry, there is a reason why we have moved forward into this class, because that's the basic thing, because I'm going to discuss about that topic, or like when we talk about the basics, I can give you the exact example of what we have already done. So if I keep on giving you the theory stuff, you might stuck at some point. So that's the reason we have went there. So now let's get back to the same first point. What is cloud computing? So yesterday we have discussed about like what is cloud computing, and I've told a few things like can anyone say like what is cloud?
Using somebody's computer.
Yeah, you using somebody else's computer. So when we are talking about computers, like what are the things we are considering into the cloud? So yesterday we have uh, discussed few things, right? um,
Yes, in cloud we can actually configure our requirements according to the project we want to work with, kind of hard disk, graphics, OS, and all that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, so that is specific to the EC2 instance. Now we are talking about a complete cloud thing. So when we are so basically, what in general what we have told is basically for the layman's language, we are just using someone else's computer. So when someone asks you what's cloud computing, you can't say like it's something. It's just a example for you to understand. So now let's get into like theory. So exactly what is cloud computing, what we need to say, or like what we need to understand, or like what we need to project when someone is talking about cloud computing. So as we have discussed as we have discussed few topics yesterday, so what understanding we got from the cloud computing is we are renting out some infrastructure, right? Is that correct? We are
Yes.
renting. Yeah, we are renting out some infrastructure. So infrastructure is not only a computer, right? There are so many things in it. Like we have discussed about database, right? Data storage, right? Database, okay, is one of the component, and second one is compute. Compute is where we are talking about VMs and computers and instance and machines, and storage, where we store data, and and what else the infrastructure means, okay, like network and other IT resources, okay, any other IT resources. All these things, what we are doing, we are renting it, right? We are using AWS services to accomplish. Either if you need a database, you can go for database. Either if you need a EC2 instance or a mission, you're using compute. Either if you are storing some data, see, database data is different and storing a regular data is different, right? So as we have compared it with Google Drive yesterday, the same way we have S3 bucket here. So we are using S3 bucket for the storage and networking and IT resources. So all these things, why we need all these things? Basically, why an IT company need all these things? Two things they basically IT company uses all these things for. Two basic things. Can anyone do you have any idea of like why we are using all these things?
To maintain privacy.
You have to maintain privacy, yes, and yeah,
Cost.
yep, cost. Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say is like what's the like why do we use this compute? Why do we use like how do you use this compute? How do you use this database stuff? So there are two things why we use this in an IT thing. Either it might be your personal virtual machine where you do development, or it might be a remote server where an application is hosted. So these are the two things you use these missions, databases, and storage network, everything you'll be using in IT. There are only two uses. Either an application is hosted in some server, or there is an environment created for you to do the development or to access emails, to access any of your office stuff. So example, you get your laptop, right? Even that's under infrastructure, right? So we are using these missions for only two purposes in the IT. So basically in cloud computing, what we do is we are getting all these things on demand instantly. How we got yesterday, we have created one EC2 instance instantly, right? On demand. So cloud computing is nothing but it's an on demand delivery of database, compute, storage, network, and other IT resources. To do what? To develop applications like the Facebook, Instagram, all those applications will be hosted in some servers, right? So so you will be using all these services to create applications and via internet. And how does the pricing affect? It's pay as you go. That means only you will be priced for what you have used, right? So when someone is asking about what is cloud computing, what can we say? Can anyone? Guys, cloud computing cloud computing is nothing but it's an on-demand delivery of IT infrastructure, right? Am I audible?
Yes, Shrikant. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you understood what is cloud computing, right? So
Yes.
basically we are using these services, which is database, compute, storage, network, IT resource, or any pre-installed applications in the cloud, and you are using as pay as you go mode, right? So you will be accessing all this through internet because it is remote, right? So it's global. You need an internet to connect to any of this instance or to create any of these services. And we can call this as resources also, right? We can call this as resources. Okay, you can just call this as resources. Any of the components or like any of the services or any of the things you either deploy in AWS or start or create, we can call them as resources in AWS. Okay, and moving to the next topic. So now we know what is cloud computing, so there is no doubt in this, right? Anyone else have any questions on it, like, or you still have any doubts on this thing?
We are good, Srikanth.
Yeah.
No, Shrikant. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Now we have discussed about like what is cloud computing. Now we will discuss about advantages of cloud. Okay, we have discussed few advantages yesterday, but now we'll go through this core advantages, because see, you're coming again here because you'll get few questions in your certification, and these are the exact linings what they ask for. So there are even you can get this online if you will search for advantages of cloud computing. So basically you'll get at least 2 to 3 questions on this. Either they'll ask like list out uh, yeah, either you'll get some questions like list out the 6 advantages of cloud computing, or like they'll ask you like they'll go through each of the advantage and they'll ask few questions on it. So right now we will discuss about this is 6 advantages of cloud, not AWS, right? Advantages of cloud computing. Okay, so basically the first advantage is
we can use it remotely.
yeah, we can use it remotely, and there are more uses of it. Again, so they, if we discuss about the uses, there are like so many uses in the cloud. So but right now we will be discussing about 6 major advantages, which is like a overview of it. If we go in depth, we'll have like a lot of uses, but let's discuss about all the 6 advantages. Let me show you that page where you can get there. um Rather than me typing on all of this. Yeah, if you can see 6 advantages of cloud computing, so it will take you there. So if you can see here, so the first advantage of cloud computing is trade capital expense for variable expense. Okay, so when we are talking about capital expense for variable expense, so um, so when we are talking about that, anyone of know what is capex?
No, Shrikant.
Yeah. So when yesterday I've given some example that if someone is trying to start a business, so there is some expense, like, right, when we are planning about like a business, so we need to spend some there are like a lot of expenses before, so which so now at that point of time we will have this terminology which is capex and opex. So capex is nothing but which is capital expense, right? Capital expense, and opex is operational expense. So capex is where you will be spending the expenses before you start the business. Like example, yesterday I have explained you that even before you start the business you need to buy a place to put the data center, and then buy servers, and then do all the maintenance stuff. So when you are planning to start this business, you need to have a capital expense which is very 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 large. And then once the setup is done, then every month you will get some expenses, the occurrence expenses like power bill or maintenance stuff, or like if you have any subscriptions, those are operational expenses, right? So coming into the cloud, the first advantage what we have seen here is the capital expenses for variable expenses. That means you don't need to worry about capital expenses. You will be only worrying about the operational expenses. Operational expenses are variable expenses that may vary. Example, the first example what we have discussed is the power bill, right? Power bill might vary, right? And those are very much very minor when compared to the capital expense. So you don't need to invest heavily on data centers before, right? And you will be only paying for what you use. If you don't need it, you will just terminate it, or you can stop it. So how much you have used, how much you have consumed, so you will be only paying for that. So that's trade capital expenses for variable expense. So guys, why I have opened this page is basically you need to remember this stuff, only just these headings, because as I told you, you'll get a question that what are the 6 advantages of cloud computing, and you will get all this stuff, and in between which of this is not true of the advantages of cloud computing. They'll give all this and like maybe 3 of this, and they'll give one wrong one. So you need to remember these headings, at least these headings. Okay. And when we practice those questions, we can see a lot of questions on this one. So that's the reason I'm stressing on this page. Exactly, you can just go and search 6 advantages of cloud computing, and you can just remember this. So going deep into it, the first point, everyone understood the first point, right? Trade capital expenses for variable expenses. That means you don't need to worry about capital expenses. You need to only just worry about the variable expense, which is OPEX, not CAPEX, right? CAPEX is capital expenditure, OPEX is operational expenditure. New terms. Any questions?
No.
No, we are good.
Yeah, you got it, right. So let's move to the next one. Benefits of massive economies of the scale. So there is one more myth before there was a cloud into like cloud introduced to our lives. So basically, if someone wanted to do something like, if it is a startup, they cannot go high, or they cannot example, what you can say is, let's take movies. Like everyone watch movies, right? So there are small movies and there are very big movies. Okay, the small movies, if they have completed the production, they'll just release directly to the theaters. But if it is a large production, they can do the audio functions and all that stuff. So there is like a lot of things what the bigger productions can do. In the same way, in IT industry, the big companies can achieve a lot than the startups, because they'll have a lot of infrastructure, and they'll have the data centers, and they'll have like a lot of workforce and all the things. Like they'll have the technicians or engineers who can work on developing an application, or the database engineers, everything. So the bigger companies have like a lot of potential to do anything than a startup. But now the game has been changed, you know because even the startups, if they wanted to create a big supercomputer, just today they can create it. They can create it right away with and the price, they don't need to worry about the price. They will be they can, if they want to use it for 1 hour, if they want to test something, as I told you yesterday, POC, which is proof of concepts. So even the startups, or even an individual like you and me, can create a supercomputer and test our proof of concept on it, right? You understood? Is it clear on this one, or like do you still have any questions on this? So
Good. It's good.
yeah, yeah. So basically, the the summary is, even startups can do. It's not that only the bigger companies can achieve bigger things. Even the small companies can also achieve you know bigger things by doing the POCs, and they have all the compute power, the database power, storage power available on demand. So this is for the second point. And the third point is like stop guessing the capacity. So basically, as in the previously when we are talking about a data center, yesterday I have explained this clearly, that if you have a idea, you need to buy a room or a place to put your data centers, and then you need to buy servers, and you don't know how much you need. Basically, you don't know how much you need, so you need to buy like a lot of like big servers. And at least if you think that you will be having 10 engineers, you need to have at least the compute power for like 15 engineers, and you need to estimate all that stuff, and you need to buy those upfront, and you need to guess like how much you will be needing, and then you need to buy that. If you don't guess it correct, that might be risk to the project, and at some point you will have issues. And if you need a new hardware at that point of time, it will take at months, and also sometimes it may take years also, if they need like very big data centers and computers which they need to expand. But here, when you're coming to the cloud, you don't need to worry about capacity. If you need a smaller instance, you can create a small instance. If you need a bigger one, you can do it on the same day, or like on this in the same hour or in the same minute. You can just take the decision and you can do it. So you don't need to worry about guessing the capacity. You need to worry about like what we can do, what type of application we can create. And the capacity, yesterday I've showed you, we can scale it also, right? So if you think at any point of time, you think that okay, this application capacity is not enough, what you can do is you can just stop that instance and increase it on fly. That also I've showed you yesterday, right? So you don't need to guess the capacity. Next, increasing speed and agility. Just now I've told you, the whatever decisions you are taking, you can take it like right away, and by that, the decisions you take, or like if you want to create something like an instance, you don't need to wait 2 days or 1 week or or like 1 month to get your instance to run some applications, or to get some server to run the applications. You can do it in minutes. By doing that, the agility will be increased in the organization, right? That depends on like the things move quicker, and you can make the changes on fly. So that's one of the uses, which is increase speed and agility. And next, stop spending money running and maintaining data centers. This is the same thing which I've already told. The capital expenses, the same stuff. I don't need to explain this thing. And next, go global in minutes. Okay. This is a very, 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 very big advantage with the cloud. So basically, when you are having your data centers, right? So you might have a data center in any one of the place. Example, if we have a data center in Texas, okay, and the application is available there, but what about the global one? So what they used to do is they used to create a different data warehouse in different, like example, Canada and in Mexico. So they used to create different data centers there, and they used to deploy the same applications and make it available locally. But here it's not like that. If you wanted to create something, or if you wanted to make this thing available in India or in any of on the other side of the world, you can do it right away. Okay, and we will discuss that in the next topic. So are you guys good with all the 6 benefits, right? You understood what it is at least.
Yes, Shrikant.
Yes.
Yes, Shrikant.
It's only one thing, which is capex. It- all these uses revolve only with that. Okay, the expensive and the stuff. So these are the 6 advantages of the cloud computing. Okay, next what we'll discuss is what are the types of cloud computing. Okay, how many types of cloud computing are there? Did I explain you yesterday? How many types of clouds are there?
Three types of clouds are there.
Yeah. What are the
Public cloud and private cloud and hybrid cloud.
yes. Did I explain you guys yesterday?
No,
No,
yesterday you
Shrikant.
didn't tell me.
You didn't explain.
Okay.
No.
So there are 3 types of clouds, which is can you guys go into mute? Yeah. So there are 3 types of cloud. The which are private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud. Okay. So what is private cloud? Private cloud is nothing but, if you guys have already worked in any of your organizations, if you can see, you can be able to access your account or your email or your server only when you connect to the VPN of that company. That means it's a virtual private network. That means only if you are in that company, only you can access it. No one else can access it. We call that as intranet also. Do you guys know difference between intranet and internet? Okay.
No.
Yeah,
No.
let me explain. Intranet is nothing but internet inside your organization or inside any of the uh, it's like a private internet. Only the people who are inside that organization or inside that virtual private network will have access to that. Whatever applications are there in that intranet, that will be only accessible for the employees. Example, if you are an employee of a Facebook, or if you are employee of an IBM, right? Only the IBM company or only employees of IBM company can able to access those web applications or those instances. In some of the companies, even the emails you cannot access on a regular internet. You need to go to intranet. That means you need to connect to VPN of that company, right? Why we do it is, so this is again we are going into basics out of the topic, but I'll explain you because you guys don't know about that. So when there is an organization, let's
to support the organization implies, right?
exactly, and for the security stuff too. So this is an organization. So what the like if so there are like many employees in it. Okay, so all these employees, what they will be doing is they need to work on in this organization, and there'll be like a lot of NDA stuff which you don't need to discuss. You cannot discuss outside of your organization, or you cannot share the data outside of this organization. So what an organization will do for the security is they will restrict your access out of the organization. Okay, that means once you go out of this building, you won't have access to those applications. You don't have access to those services, even like Outlook or email, Jabber, the communication, everything will be stopped at this point, which is your office gate. Once you go out of it, you will lose access to all the information or all the application, all the things which you can access in your company. Okay, you understood, right? The
But also it's unable to communicate external and internal, right?
External and internal, when you say external internal, are you talking about intranet and internet? So internet is basically everything.
Employees.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the intranet.
Yeah, intranet. Yeah. So the employees who will be inside this organization, inside this building, only can connect to this. And how do they do it? They do it with VPN. We call it as virtual private network. Okay. That means this is the network which they create, and inside that they will deploy all the application inside that. So basically virtual private network is nothing but a Wi-Fi. Okay, like how do we have a Wi-Fi in your home? In the same way, this is the Wi-Fi for the like the internet, or the Wi-Fi for organization. But what you do is, because the applications are deployed only in this network, you will be only, you can only access if you are connected to this VPN. And now you can say, now we got corona, we have this corona situation, right? So everyone is working from home, but just now I told you that people who will be out of this organization will not have access to this. Then how all these guys are working? Do you guys know?
The thing
Through
you
the
talked about
VPN.
is VPN.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So if I am an employee, so what I do is, first I will connect to VPN. VPN is nothing but, just now I told you, virtual private network. So that means you are connecting to the internet of company, not to your Wi-Fi. So you are connecting to the internet of the company through your Wi-Fi. So you have your Wi-Fi and you're connecting to the company's internet, and only then you will be able to access all this stuff. Understood, right?
Yes.
So you're just connecting to this network, and then you are able to access all this stuff. So this is the difference between intranet and internet. So private cloud is always, you can just call private cloud is intranet. That means only the people who, or not the people, like only the employees who have access to this virtual private network will have access to it. With the private, basically the name itself, you can say it is private. It's only for people who are working in that company, or like who have access to that. So it's private, is completely closed. No one external people like you and me can access to that internet, sorry in access to that resources, or access to that mission. Okay. So example, yesterday we have just connected to a mission, because that's a public cloud. I am outside the internet, and I was able to connect to it. But if it is a private network, private cloud, you will be only accessing in your organization, because it is connected to the virtual private network of your organization, right? It's private. You cannot access outside. The public is external. Example, all the applications like Facebook, Instagram, and all these things are hosted in public cloud, so that all the public can able to access it. That is the difference between private cloud and public cloud. Public cloud is where you deploy the web applications, where everyone in the world can access, like Gmail, Facebook, even AWS. You are able to access the AWS GUI console, right? So you can access that from the regular internet, from anywhere in the world. So that is hosted in public cloud. The applications or anything which is hosted in private cloud, you won't be able to access. You need to either connect to a VPN, or either you need to have access to that exact network where it is deployed. Is it clear or still there is some gap or like some?
What is the role of firewall in VPN?
So the role of firewall, see, firewall is basically restricting few things. Like there is a concept called IPs and port numbers. Okay, so basically every application will be running on some port, or even if you try to log into any of the instance. Example, we have logged in yesterday, right? Yesterday to an instance, and I showed you in security group we have opened 3389 or 3384 RDP port, right? So for everything, for every application or for any network communication, it would be either through a port or IP. Okay, every mission or every uh, uh, what is it? Every instance will have their own IP. So this is the concept which we are talking about IoT also, right? So even in IoT, every device or everything will have an IP, and those IPs can communicate each other. So in IT, in information technology, whatever communications you are having, the network stuff, anything, it will go through IP and ports. So basically what firewall does is it will block it. Firewall is the name itself, you can say it's a wall, right? Only what you open, like what ports you open. Example, yesterday we have opened 3389. So we are able to go inside the instance. If we have blocked that, that means you're closing the firewall, you cannot access it.
So in order to gain the access of VPN, then the firewall port should be open for them.
Yeah, not only firewall, even the IP things also. That we can, as
Yeah,
yeah, we
that's
can,
right.
yeah, even we can discuss that once we go back to that EC2 thing. Yesterday, when we have created the instance, we have created a security group also. Security group is nothing but a firewall in AWS. That's the name what they call. So either you can restrict it with IPs and the port number. So those are the combination, like the password combination you have, right? In the same way, those are the combinations. Even if but if you open the port for world, that means 0.0.0.0. That means anyone, like any IP can able to connect it. So that means you are opening it to the world. But if you restrict it to the IP of your laptop, only you can access it. No one else can access it. So that's the same concept they use in organization also in the VPN. So what they do is when you try to connect it, when you try to connect to the VPN, what they'll do is you need to go through some portal, which is like an F5 network or some network you need to go. So those networks will have those network IPs will be whitelisted in the VPN in the organization. So only when you are connected to that, it will be, you can access it. And how that will be opened, you need to give your logins, and there will be an RSA code, which is like the code you get for every 5 seconds, like how you get it in
1 minute. It depends upon the company policy, right?
it depends on company's policy how secure it is. Most of the companies, like 80 to 90% of the companies, if you wanted to connect to the VPN, because if they're putting the VPN, that means they need to secure the organization. So if you have to connect to that VPN, you need to go through this RSA token.
RA,
Yeah, yeah. So
and it will be disappear. It will be not valid after 1 month. Then you will get
yeah,
another RAC, right? It will
yeah,
expire.
exactly. Yeah, you'll get new code every time. So that's how they protect. Mostly 99% you have that. So yeah, so that is the thing. And so this is off topic. Let's go back to public cloud. This is just for your understanding, okay? Because I know the instance network, IP ports, these all things are new things to you. But see, those are just overrated. The concept is like overrated concept. There is nothing in it. It's straightforward, and you don't need to worry about it. You won't be working much on it. But if you know all these things, it would be better for you to work. You will be just knowing how these things work. Okay, so let's come back to uh, private cloud, private and public. So now you know what is private and what is public, right? What is private and what is public? Private is nothing but only which can be accessible. It's a private one. Only the employees can be able to access. No one else can access it. Even though if you create some web application in it, the only the people who have connected to that VPN or something, who have the access to it, only those people can access it. But public is not like that. Anyone can connect it. Facebook, I can I can connect to Facebook anywhere. I can connect to Gmail anywhere. I can connect to Instagram anywhere. So all those applications are deployed in public servers, the public cloud, so that everyone will be able to access it. So that is public cloud, and this is private cloud. Then what is hybrid cloud?
Which could be like both public and
Yeah.
private, or like maybe we can convert that.
Yes, exactly. So the public cloud and the private cloud together is called hybrid cloud. Okay, so basically when we are talking about hybrid cloud, you can yesterday I told you there is a concept called subnets. So these subnets, you can keep some subnets into in the public, and some subnets to the private one. Example of this thing is data subnets. All the databases are deployed in data subnets, and data subnets is always secure. So there will be 3 layers to connect to it. So that's the hybrid one. And the best examples we can take for private, public, and hybrid is when we talk about private cloud, we can take private cloud as VMs. So basically, in IT, we have virtual machines, okay, on-prem. So it is like a cloud in on-prem. So public is something like AWS Cloud, and hybrid is where you you spin some like you deploy some applications in VMs and some applications in public, like which is a public cloud like AWS. So that's where the migration will happen. So basically, whenever they need some instances to be public, they can go on AWS. They don't need to completely migrate, right? So right now, even the on-prem instances what we have, those we can say them as a private cloud too. Whatever on-prem missions, which is the data warehouse which we spoke previously. If I have to create an what is it? If I have to create a business, I need to have the space and then that data center. So that data center, you can say it as private cloud too, because that's only accessible to you, not everyone. You're creating that environment in your organization. So hybrid is half the private and half the public, right? It is combination of both of it. Or you can do the connectivity between the private and public also. Okay, that's the private, public, and hybrid.
Shrikant, can you please tell me an example for a hybrid cloud?
Yep. So hybrid cloud is basically, okay, let's take, I have an organization here, which is, yeah, let's take a Facebook, right? Facebook. Facebook have their own servers. They're not using AWS cloud. So they have their own servers. They have their own data center. So they have their own data center. So if we are saying it's their own data center, that means only the employees in this Facebook organization will have access to it, and we can call that as private cloud too. Okay, and on the other hand, we have AWS too. Okay, so what they have done is So there is a tool which Facebook wanted to use only for their internal people for analytics or to sell their ads. Okay, it's only accessible for these people, and they have their Facebook application which is in cloud, which has to be in public. So this is here. So when hybrid model is there, what they do is this application will communicate with a mission which is hosted in private. So here this whole thing is integrated, and this can be a single application where you are partially hosting it on the public cloud and partially hosting it in the private cloud. You got it right. Basically the Facebook ads and analytics, there will be backend tools. There are like a lot of tools where the Facebook employees will be using it. They don't use the regular Facebook what we use. So in the backend they sell ads, they do analytics, they do a lot of stuff in the backend. So all these application has to be connected to this main application which is hosted in public, which is accessible to everyone, where this application is only accessible to the employee, but you have integrated it. So that's where we can call that as hybrid cloud, where you are using half of the application to use on the public cloud and the half of the application you're doing it in private cloud. Did you get it?
Yes, Sridhar. Understood.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions on private, public, and hybrid? You can go and read the white papers if you wanted in-depth you know knowledge on this stuff. But if there is any gaps on this, just let me know. We can clear that off. Okay. Next will be going into the type of services. Okay. What are these? Anyone know the full forms of these things?
Software as a service and platform as a service and infrastructure as a service.
Exactly. So we can call this SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. Okay. So basically these are the services what we get in the cloud. Okay. No, even on the off the cloud we'll get these services, but mostly in the cloud these are the things what we get. But when we are talking about SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, okay, SaaS is software as service, uh, PaaS is platform as service, and IaaS is infrastructure as service. So what is the most let's go through each of things. Software as service, that means they're giving a software as a service to you. That means you are only worrying about to use that software. The best example is Gmail. Okay, what do? Directly go there, log in, and do your work, right? So you don't know. So the Gmail is an web application which is hosted somewhere. So you don't need to worry about installing it and installing it in on some server and all that stuff. You're not installing anything, right? Are you installing the Gmail in on your laptop? You're not installing, right? So you are getting this, you're using that software directly. You're not worrying about infrastructure. You're not worrying about where it is hosted, how it is hosted, where do I need to install it. You don't need to worry about anything. You're directly using the software. So basically what they have done in the background, the Google team has spun up some instances or like the data warehouse. There they have installed the Gmail, and there they have installed all the other components, and they're just asking you to go to www.gmail.com, log into your thing, send email, close it, like Facebook, like Instagram, right? So you're directly using the software. Even even SAP, those stuff are called SaaS. Understood, right? Any confusions in this? So you're directly using the software. You're not worried about deploying it or installing it also. Is it clear?
Got it, Srikanth.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So guys, if you have any questions, just stop me. Like if you see, though it's a silly question, you can ask me. You know, I know these all things are new to you guys, but just concentrate on it. Don't get confused. SaaS is nothing but just a software. What do you use? So basically, the back end, there is a lot of stuff going on which we don't worry about. You are only using the software. That's the SaaS. Okay. The next, platform as service. Okay. Platform is nothing but, basically, AWS is a platform. GCP is a platform, right? Google Cloud Platform, where you can use different services. You can deploy different services where you can get the, um, pre-installed applications where you need to, but you will be worried about where it has to be installed, or like where it has to be created. So it's not that you're only worrying about software there, because yesterday you saw it, right? We have created the infrastructure, which is called IaaC, where they are giving infrastructure as service. There are also other services like EMR, database, those stuff, where they will already provide you the infrastructure, and you will be installing the application, or developing an application. So that's the platform. You got it? Platform. I know there will be little confusion in this, but I'll explain you in the better way. So, okay. Okay. So example. Okay, we will take an example. Okay, application. So in IT, everything works with an application, right? Do you guys know that? It's application. Everything is an application. Gmail is an application. Facebook is an application. Anything. What do you create? It's an application. Even the websites, what do you get? It's not like you're logging into Facebook is not a website, it's a web application. You can create offline applications, online applications, which you can install on your instance. So mostly IT works on applications. Do you guys know that, or is there any confusion in it?
No, it's clear.
That's clear, right? So it's an application. But let's take an example. Application is a Maggie. So everyone know Maggie, right? Which we cook 2 minutes Maggie. Let's think application is a Maggie, but okay, you are cooking Maggie. So where do you cook on, or where do you serve on? Not only Maggie, any of the dishes you cook. Where do you cook on, or like where do you serve on? Ladies, there are so many girls in the class.
Utensils.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah.
We use utensils on and we put on stove.
exactly. The bowls, right? The bowl and the stove, all these are infrastructure, which we are discussing about. Compute, database, all that stuff, that is the plates and utensils what we use. Okay, so any application, so if even though you cannot, without the utensils, you cannot cook Maggie, right? You cannot serve the Maggie. Serving the Maggie means, serving the dish means hosting an application. If you have to host an application, you need to have dishes. The dishes are nothing but infrastructure, right? Understood? Is that clear? Like
Yes.
you
Yes.
got it, right? Your dish example Maggie is an application. It has to be hosted somewhere. It has to be developed somewhere. Developed is nothing but cooking. Okay. And hosting is nothing but like installed on somewhere. So okay. So it has to be cooked somewhere. It has to be served somewhere. Okay. Serving is nothing but hosting. Cooking is nothing but developing. So you need to develop an application. Application doesn't come on the fly. So many developers will develop that. So for that they use a lot of tools. They use a lot of platforms. So here in SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, the best example is I going out to a restaurant and I'm ordering a Maggie. That means I don't need to worry about how he is cooking, where he is cooking, and how he is serving, right? You don't bring your plates. That is software as service. Again, software and applications are same. So software is synonym for application. Every software we can call that as application too. Okay. So you understood the SaaS, right? Me going out and ordering a Maggie. So you don't need to worry about how they cook, where they cook, and in how they serve. So that is SaaS. And when it comes to PaaS, what it does is, okay, we are giving you the whole kitchen. Okay, we are giving you this whole kitchen. You can cook it. Example, if I go to any of like Oyo or not Oyo, what is it? Airbnb, you'll get a kitchen, right? What they'll ask you to do is, okay, we are giving you kitchen. You can cook your own food. That is platform as service. So they'll give you a platform to cook your Maggie. And next, infrastructure as service, where you will be getting the kitchen also. Like example, it's your own home. It's your own home, right? So you need, so example, Deepika want to buy some house. So she'll talk to her husband that, see, I need 4 stove, right? I need this exhaust fan. I need this micro oven. So all these are infrastructure. That means I need T2 micro instance. I need 500 GB of storage. So that is your requirement. So you are creating that, right? So that is infrastructure as service. That means you are choosing your infrastructure and you are building a kitchen. Where in platform as service, they have given you a kitchen, you will be cooking the Maggie. Where software as service, you will directly get a Maggie. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Shrikant.
Yeah.
So this is like very basic example. It is very easy to understand. Infrastructure where you will build your own kitchen, and platform as service where you get the kitchen to cook your dishes, and software as service you'll get the dishes directly. So here dish is nothing but an application or like a software, and the kitchen is platform, and infrastructure is whatever things you use in the kitchen like stove and all that stuff. Got it, right? Now it's simple to understand and compare it with. Is it fine now?
Yes, Shrikant.
Yes.
Anyone else have any questions? You can ask me any questions. Don't think that it's a inappropriate question, because this you need to understand. You'll get a lot of questions on this. We need to okay. So next we will go to the next topic. Yeah, we'll close in 20 minutes. Okay, don't worry, I don't take 2 hours every day. Okay, just because we are going in depth for the basic stuff, we have to we are going extra time, but Until unless you understood everything, that's worth we extend this time. Otherwise, it's waste of time. You guys are getting all the topics, right?
Yes.
Why we are getting?
Yeah. Okay. So next, what we'll discuss is now we know what is cloud computing, right? And now we know like what are the advantages of cloud computing, and we also know types of clouds, and we also know the types of services what we get in cloud, right? Is that clear? Like, does
Yes.
anyone know any
Clear.
of these things, right? Until now, we are good. So now now the cloud computing is done. Now let's take AWS as this thing. AWS, we have choose one cloud, which is AWS. Now we'll discuss about the AWS stuff. So everyone have created your accounts, right? Everyone have created your accounts.
Yes.
When you have created your accounts, if you can see here, where is my cursor? Yeah. When you created your accounts, you can log in with me parallelly and you can check this out. So this is the UI, what you get when you log in, right? Yesterday we have created one server, right? The test mission, right? Okay. So when we have created the test mission. So when we are comparing this infrastructure with what? Kitchen, right? We are comparing the infrastructure with what? Kitchen. So now I have created a kitchen, like Deepika have selected a kitchen and I have she have created a kitchen. But where did she create this kitchen? Do you know that? Where is the location of that kitchen? So example, we said cloud is nothing but someone else's computer, right? Do you know where that computer is? Do you know
No. No.
yeah. So basically, because the AWS is global, it is spread all over the world. Okay, you can see this. You can see this, right? It's a nice UI. So these are all the regions. Okay, let us go to AWS global infrastructure. If you go to the global infrastructure, you will be learning about it. You can see there are 24 launched regions. Previously, it used to be only 22. When I think when I thought our last class, which is like 3 or 4 months before, there were only 22 launched regions and 77 availability zones and 5 local zones and 6 announced regions, 2x regions, and 245 countries it is served, and 97 connect locations and 220 plus POPs. Okay. Okay, don't get overwhelmed. All these things are nothing but just a location of it. Okay, it's don't worry about all this stuff. Just know that AWS is available in 24 regions and 77 availability zones. Now we'll go into it and we'll explain you. So if you can see this is all over the world. If you wanted to see as a map stuff, you can see this, right? So these are all the 22 regions where the AWS data centers are there. Example, yesterday I have showed you, you are not spending your money on the data center, but you are renting the data center from somewhere. That means all the AWS have all the data centers in these regions, 22 regions all over the world. Okay, so if you can see, in India there is in Mumbai and Hyderabad, there is one in Bahrain and Singapore, Indonesia, Hong Kong, all these regions you have regions, right? If you can see, all these are regions, right? How many regions are there?
Four.
24.
Yeah, total 24 regions are there. That means whatever instance we are creating, yesterday we have created one instance, right? It will be created in any one of these regions. It's not that that region is available everywhere. It will be created in any one of these regions. Now, how do I know where it is deployed? Okay, let's go back to our instance. The this thing. Can you see this here on your left side?
Yes.
Says
Yeah.
North Virginia. If you click this down button, you can see all the regions what you have. So if I wanted to spin up some instance in India, what do? I go here and I'll select where is Mumbai. I select Mumbai here, right? If I select Mumbai right now, you can spin instances in Mumbai. That is how you select the region, right? You understood? I showed you the global picture where all these things are available, and wherever it's available, you need to select that region and then spin up the instance. Then you can ask, see, this is global, right? What does it matter if I have spun up that instance in Bombay or if I have spun up in USA? What is the major difference in it? Like what do you think will be the major difference when I spin instance in one region to other region? Can anyone say? There are many advantages of it, but at least the major one. Can anyone say what is it?
And the price is going to fluctuate.
Price. Yeah, price is, yeah, indirectly price. But can you explain like why price? Example, if we are taking T2 micro, T2 micro is 0.002 cents anywhere. But yes, still the cost affects. How do you think the cost affects?
Can you please repeat the question?
So what I'm trying to ask is, I can create an instance in Mumbai, right? I can create an instance in US, like North Virginia also. Okay, I can able to access that mission, and I can also able to access North Virginia mission. What is the difference? Like, why do I choose Mumbai or why do I choose North Virginia?
It's because it's the nearest one.
Exactly, the latency, the nearest one. So if I'm in India, I would spin instances in Mumbai. And if I am in US, I would spin instances in North Virginia. Though you will be able to access that instance which is in Mumbai, but the latency will be little low compared to North Virginia. And also you are routing it, the internet, what it costs for you to connect to the India one, there are like a lot of packets it has to spend to go to the Indian server. So there will be like little latency, that is slow. It will be, the communication will be little slow. That you can't, I can't say it will be like very slow lagging stuff. No, but it is slow compared to it. You won't be able to notice when you try to access a mission, but when you try to access an application, so loading F4, like example, you have installed an application like Instagram. What do you post in Instagram? What do you post in Instagram? Those are photos, right? Media.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you post these photos and media, if it is in Mumbai, it will take a long time for you to download that picture. In the back end, the picture will be loaded. So that downloading stuff and all that thing will take a lot of time when you do it in Virginia, North Virginia. So that's the reason we use this. And the second reason is we are using it for DR purpose also. DR is disaster recovery. That means if example, let's take Texas. Texas was blacked out for few days there. Okay. So if you have your major business or major instances which are spun in Texas, and due to some natural calamities that data center is down, all your users won't be able to access it. So at that point of time, what you do is, as a backup, you create the same instance in different region, like North Virginia, something like that. So that's the usage of regions. You can go global. You can spin instances in US. You can spin instances in UK, everywhere. And you can see this North Virginia, right?
Yes.
North Virginia is the guinea pig for AWS. Whatever POCs they do, whatever testing they do, whatever releases they do, they first release in North Virginia. We can call it as a default region for AWS. That's the reason most of the people use North Virginia for the data center, though they are in, you know, California side or any of the central guys. See, basically, if I'm from Texas, for me, I need to choose, like, you know where the Texas is, right? Texas is somewhere here or something like that. Okay, so if for me, Ohio is near, but I still choose North Virginia because there are a lot of services first released in North Virginia rather than Ohio. So in that way, but the people who are in California, they can choose North California, Oregon, and this is the government cloud. We won't get access to it. You can't see that in our this thing. It's only for government. For government, they have created a specific region, and only the government stuff will go on there. Even here, if you can see, for the government, US East. So these are the regions.
Shrikant,
Now, yeah.
so for DR, if you created one instance in Virginia, let's say, and you want to create another one in California, uh, the do we have to copy everything to California, or will it automatically get copied?
Yeah. So if you already have an application, you can take an AMI of it. As they showed you AMI, right? Where we can select an OS. So what we do is we install an application in the instance, and we take an AMI of it. That means an image of it, and you can deploy that image in California. It is basically, it is very easy. Uh, I won't say it will automatically copy it, but I would say it is very much easier than what we do in on-prem, you know, because in on-prem it would be a very big project of migration, right?
So when we take the image, does it automatically like whatever we are doing in Virginia,
Mhm.
exactly in California, like
Mhm.
database site, like
Yeah,
how we have in our servers, we will
yeah,
have a backup server in for the DR. Everything that we do in the main server, it will automatically gets copied with us in a seconds to another backup system,
yes,
right?
exactly. So that is called replica, right? So it's a HS stuff. So what we do is,
That is called replication, right?
yes, exactly. So if you connect it to a single database, and you can route it to a load balancer, so there will be a global load balancer. The users what will come from that load balancer, it will route it to North California and North Virginia, and whatever data they put in, it will go to a basic database, like single database. Again, even the database will have multi-zone, multi-availability zone. That means they will have replica stuff, right? In different regions, this data is available. Example, like example, Shilpa have download, like uploaded a photo in her Facebook, and that application is connected to California. But still, next time when she connect to the same server, it might connect to North Virginia, and still she can see that photo. Why? Because the database is the same database for both the applications are connected to. And for that database also you will have a replica. If something goes down, there will be a backup database which is automatically replicated.
What if one database is crashed?
Yeah, that's what. If one database is crashed, it is available. So you need to just check out. It's very simple that when you write an application, you just stick it in the same way. You need to just stick it as like multi-cloud, multi-availability zone. That means it is available in different availability zones. Okay, what is availability zones? Now we'll discuss about availability zones. Now we have already discussed about regions, right? We'll go to availability zones. You can see all the blue dots. Can you see the blue dots?
Yes.
Yeah. So all these blue dots, oh, sorry. Okay, wait. All these blue dots are availability zones. Availability zones are nothing but those are the main data centers actually. You are just saying that Starbucks is in Boston. Okay, so we are talking about Boston, but in Boston there are so many Starbucks. All those Starbucks are called availability zones. That means wherever the Starbucks, wherever the coffee is available to you, all those things are called availability zones. That means all these availability zones are different data warehouses or data centers. You understood what I'm trying to say, right? If you can select it, you can see the area of it too. See it. Availability zones. If you can see, the availability zones are customers' availability to operate the production applications and databases.
So when we are creating an instance, we have to also choose the availability zone, or
Exactly, availability zone. Yesterday, when we have created it, even that I'll show you. Availability zones, you won't, yeah, if you can see this, let's go back to the same thing. So that is the reason I have created this easy to instance yesterday, so that you can compare it. Like you already know that some of the stuff what we have done created. So example, I'm selecting one of the instance which I've created before, not yesterday. Why is it not showing anything? What happened to it?
So Srikant, you're trying to say that it's only happening on the cloud platform, not the actual backup platform, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's only one. So see, whatever the backups you need to do it. AWS won't do anything for you. Okay, so you are responsible. So there is a whole topic of responsibilities. There is a shared responsibility of us and AWS. It's a very big topic, and you will get a lot of questions on it. That's the next topic we'll discuss. But for now, if we'll come back to this, if you can see the availability zone, you can see the availability zones, right? So this server has US East 1A, US East 1B, US East 1C. All these things are called availability zones. Okay, that means this server is created in a different data center, and this instance is created in different data center.
Shrikant, can we use multiple availability zones per region?
Yeah, see, in a region you will have see example, right now we have selected North Virginia, right? We have selected North Virginia. In North Virginia, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options to do it, which is US East 1A, US East. So this is US East 1A, this is US East 1B, this is US East 1C, this is US East 1D, one E and one F. So these are the different availability zones you have options in North Virginia. And when you select Ohio,
So,
yeah,
so
go
do
ahead.
we have to copy each and every availability zone?
No, you don't need to copy. You need to select only one availability zone, and you can do it in one availability zone. If you want another instance in different availability zone, you need to create it. So basically, if
So
you
how
create,
about if we lost the connection for that availability zone? What then?
can you repeat that question?
No, if we use only one availability zone, what if we lost the connection to that?
Yeah, that's gone. If there is if that availability is zone is down, or if that instance is gone, it's gone. That's it. That is what I'm trying to say. There is a shared responsibility of AWS and you. So you need to take care of like where you are spinning up, and you have backup to it. Example, if you spin and if you created a new instance in other availability zone, you will be charged double, right? Because you are creating one instance here, one instance here. So you will be charged double. Some of the companies might think about charge, and they can only spin one instance, and which might be in the stake too. That is
Okay.
completely depends on the
So
company.
what is the DR role in this then?
Can you mute?
What is the DR role in this then?
No, see the DR. See, who is deciding DR,
The company will decide it.
Based on the situation,
right? No,
yeah.
whatever the situation is, who will decide the DR?
Is a I myself, company requirements.
Exactly, the company and the customer. So you need to decide if you need the instance in both Ohio and North Virginia. If you are only spinning it in Ohio, that is your risk. AWS is not involved in it. It will just say you have created it in Ohio, and that was gone and it's gone. That's it. You need to take care of that. But
So in that
mostly,
case, the
mhm,
company should have to have a colo database in
exactly,
order to maintain.
exactly. So most companies, if they think about pricing, they'll go with single instances. But uh, but the bigger companies, what they do is they always have backup. They always have HA. They always have DR. They always have it. They do the budgeting according to it. But the smaller companies, they don't do it. The example, the instance which I'm showing you right now, the company, it has only one instance. The example, this instance, it's only here, which is in North Virginia, and it is in US East 1B.
Any publicly traded company should have a DR by law.
Yeah, exactly. So so that is again the company's stuff. The company has to decide it, and that's how. But AWS will give all the tools for you to have to create the DR, to create HR, HA, all that stuff. And second, one more thing is AWS is saying that this availability zone will be available 99.999%. Only that 1% is when there is a natural calamity. And if you lost, if it is AWS mistake, and if some server is down, and they will be responsible to bring it back if it is AWS mistake. If it is not, they won't care about it. If it is your mistake, if you have accidentally terminated it, there is no way you are able to get the data or instance from AWS if you don't have backups. That's the reason we need to be very careful when it is in production. That's the same thing in on-prem also. If you delete something, it's gone. We don't have backup. That's the reason we have the concept of backups, right?
No, like, I mean, it will not pop up any password or something.
No. It won't pop up any password. So next, the next topic what we will discuss is about IAM roles. So the IAM roles means you can create a user. The main root user what you have created is for yourself, and after that in an organization you can create thousands of users in it, and you can restrict the access to do some things like deleting the stuff. Example, I can create a user in my company for Mohammed, and I can say Mohammed can only spin up instance. He cannot delete the instance. So we can restrict in that way. But you won't be able, like, they won't ask any passwords or something like that. It will just ask you to just type the name to delete it. Example, if I have to delete something, it will ask you to, if not for termination, it won't ask. For any of the volumes, if you want to delete, it will ask you to write the name of the volume so that you're confirming that you can delete it. Example, let me
So
show
we
you.
know for
Yeah,
to know the legacy.
yeah, just that you are doing with your mind or presence. Example, see, I want to select this and I'm action, and when I try to delete this volume, yes, delete it, and oh god, it has deleted automatically. Okay. In most of the cases it will ask you to type, okay, maybe because there is no name for it. Let's try this then. Most of the services it will ask you. Okay, even this didn't ask. What else I can show with that stuff? Yes. So if you wanted to delete anything on RDS, I'm sure it will ask you because it's a very big thing. Are there any instances? Nope. Okay. While we will be doing all this stuff, right? We'll be creating RDS and then I'll show you when we delete it. I'll show you that stuff. That's not a problem. So still we have more topics in this one. Let's close that. So you guys understand?
One more question, Srikant. One more question.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We can play around with the volumes.
Yeah, I just now I deleted, right? You can create,
Yes.
delete, increase, decrease. No, you can't decrease the volume, but you can increase it. Yeah.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you saying North Virginia is better than Ohio? Because I can see Ohio has the same availability zones as North Virginia.
No. See, I'm not saying North Virginia is better. North Virginia is the guinea pig for AWS. So whatever services AWS release, it will release first in North Virginia itself because they do all the POCs in North Virginia.
Okay.
Almost all the, so in North Virginia you will have all the services enabled. In some of the places, in some of the regions like China or in some other stuff, they like not all services are enabled. It is restricted. So you need to go and request AWS that, hey, I'm from Tokyo, I need this, can you please enable this? Then they'll check that and they'll enable it for you. So, but not in North Virginia, you won't have any restrictions. All the services are available in North Virginia. So that's about preference. It's not that it's best one. What I would say is that's like a default zone for AWS.
Okay.
So North Virginia, you got it, and in North Virginia, you have 6 availability zones. You got what availability zones are, right? Those are basically the exact physical location of the data center. Okay. When you say North Virginia, you're saying that, hey, the Starbucks is available in Boston. It's not that there is only one thing. In Boston, we have thousands of Starbucks locations. All that locations are called availability zones. So now you understood
North
what is.
Virginia is a primary.
Yes, exactly. North Virginia is a zone, and not zone, I mean region, and the other things are the branches, like the availability zones. So wherever the coffee, the Starbucks is available, that's called like availability zones. That means wherever you will be able to spin some instances or create instances, that is availability zone. And next, if you can see, there are so many pink dots. Can you see the pink dots? There are so many. And even in the statistics, if you can see, there are how many? There are 220 plus point of presence, 77 availability zones, 24 regions. So basically, they won't call it as POPs, point of presence. We call it as edge locations. We call it as edge locations. Okay. So basically, what edge locations are is, when see example here, we have one region in North Virginia and we have one region in California. In between, there is nothing. There is nothing at all. But if you example, let's take the same example of Facebook. You have loaded some picture. That picture has to download. So what it does is, first time it will download and it will make a backup of that data in each of these points, which we called as cache. You know cache, right? And we have it in local memory, right? In RAM. What do we have in RAM? It's a temporary storage, right? So in the same way, they will store the data temporarily in these edge locations, so that any one example, so if example, this is one uh, uh, edge. This is one edge location. So Mohammed is here. So he is trying to access some application from North Virginia. So he have opened it once and it took some time to load. And next time when he's loading it, so it is loading it quicker. Why? Because when he loaded first time, it has downloaded that in one of this edge location. And next time when he do it, when he reload it or like revisited that, what it does is it will take the data from the edge location which is located here, because he's from here. It will take the nearest edge location and do it. And then when you can say, you can also ask that, is that edge location means there is a data center? No, it's not a data center. It is something like, AWS franchisee, like the it will use the other data centers to just put this temporary files on it, so that it will load, any of the applications or anything will load quicker. You got what I'm trying to say, right? Anyone have any questions on this one? Just
So
simple.
I see a little bit data analytics in there, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Shrikant, we can use one instant in one region and another in another region, and we can choose anything like that, right?
Yeah, where you can see here, you can choose one instance, and here you can one instance, you can do it. But here, when I'm talking about the edge locations, what I'm trying to say is, if you are located here and you're trying your Facebook account from here, and when you try to load the pictures, the server need to get the pictures from here. So it will take a lot of latency in between. So next time when you load it, it will take long time. So what you do is, you choose this edge location. So most of the photos, when you load first time, it will be downloaded to this location. So next time when you try to reload it or try to revisit the same website, the content will get from here, not from here, which
Okay.
you have already visited, not the new ones. For the new ones, if you refresh it again, it will get the data from here, save it here, and get it quicker for you. So this is something like, if you know the components of computer, in the computer also it's the same thing. The most of the things, you basically, the best example is uh, Excel. You work on some Excel and suddenly there is a power cut or something, you didn't save it. but some of that can be recovered to the last point. Do you know how it does without saving? If you save it, it will go and save in your hard disk, in your hard drive. But if you don't save it, do you know where it will be stored for temporarily? Anyone?
Cache.
Memory.
Yeah, RAM. So in RAM, there will be temporary memory. So I know you guys, one of you guys have done HANA, right? So HANA is the new technology where they store data in RAM.
Right.
All the yeah. So that's
In-house memory.
exactly. So that's a very innovative new technology. Like now it's not new. At that time it's new, but that's the first time someone trying to use temporary storage location to store permanent storage. So RAMs are used for temporary cache and the regular temporary space to use. So that's the reason people, when you try to select a laptop, you need 500 GB of storage and at least 4 GB of RAM. Why? Because all this temporary memory will be saved in that, but it is temporary. So edge locations will also work in the same way. So these are the things. So in this, the main question what you get is what is the hierarchy of of these things. What is first? Regions, next availability zones, next edge nodes. So they'll ask you a question something like what comes first, like what is the order of it. So you will get an options like availability zone, region, and edge locations, and edge locations, availability zones, and regions, and then regions, availability zones, and edge locations. What do you select? What is the correct answer?
Regions, availability zones, and edge locations.
Exactly. So that's the order. This is a definite question. Definitely you will get it in the examination for sure. Okay. So now you are good with all the things, right? So whatever till now, whatever we have discussed, whatever instances or like whatever services you're creating, you can create in 24 different regions all over the world. And there are how many availability zones? I don't remember how many are there. 77 availability zones and 220 edge locations. Okay, that is clear, right? This is just the locations, nothing. There is nothing too much technical in it. Just the location. See, all these orange ones are coming soon. If you can see here, example India. Most of you guys are from India, right? Let's take it an example from India. If you can see, Mumbai is launched 2016. Hyderabad is coming soon. Okay, let's check that out whether it's true or not. If you can see here, regions, let's go down and check. No. Yeah, see, we have Mumbai. We don't have Hyderabad. Once the Hyderabad is available, you will get Hyderabad also here. And one more simple thing for you to remember is you can say, when I say US East 1, it is region. When I say US East 1A, what is it?
Availability zone.
Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah. So in North Virginia, how many availability zones are there?
It's availability zones.
It's availability zones. Exactly. In Ohio, even in Ohio, in the something, it will be similar. So it is 7 means it will be like 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F. In the same way, you will get in most of the places, it will be 2 and 3. So the availability zones in Oregon will be US East 2A, US East 2B, US East 2C, something like that. So when you get the alphabet, it is availability zone. If there is no alphabet, then that is region. So when I say US East 1. US East 1, the basic one, right? What is the reason US East 1? North Virginia, right? US East 1 is always North Virginia. US East 2 is always Ohio. So these are on the east side of the US. You know that, right? So in the east side, how many are there? Canada. Does it? Canada will come under maybe CA, right? CA East, something like that.
Two?
What is it? Yeah, see Canada, CA, Central
Hmm.
1. Yeah. So if it is like only number, it is region, and if you have alphabet, then it is availability zone. So for every place you need to select region and availability zone, any instance, because these are physical things. When we are talking about cloud is nothing but someone else's computer. It's physically located somewhere. So you need to know where it is located. So you need to know. See, most of the guys, the newbies, right? You will create some instance here, and you know, say example, right now there are 3 instances here, right? You can see 3 instances here, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But sometimes what you do is suddenly there is some change in UI and it goes to Mumbai or something like that, and people will say like, hey, I have created instance, I don't see it. Suddenly they'll say like, okay, I created instance, I don't know where it is. They then we'll say like, okay, go and check in which region you are. Oh, in Mumbai. So where did you spin up your instance? I've created it in US East 1A. That means it will be available in North Virginia. When I go to North Virginia, then you will be able to see the instance. So you are right now physically located in North Virginia. When you change it, you are located in different way. You can't see that, you can't see instances from there. At least in the UI, you will be able to access it wherever you are, but you got it, right? You got this concept? Is it clear? And all these white dots are network, how they communicate and all that stuff. So any questions on today's class? So I know this is boring one, we didn't do any practical stuff. um, so theory is always boring, but these are very important for your examination, for your certification.
I think we are good.
Yeah, good, right? If you have any questions, just let me know. Any questions? No questions at all? Did you guys really understood everything?
Yes, Srikanth, so far,
Well,
like what you told, yeah.
yeah, for me, yes, understood everything.
Okay. Either you're not asking or either you're not listening.
Srikanth, I have a
Yes.
question.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Like we and like once we do one instance, and if we stop that, um again, if we want to run it again we have to enter the password and the code, everything again we have to do it again.
No. See this. That is basically like an instance. When you stop the instance, you won't be able to access it. You need to again start the instance and then log in. But yes, if you wanted to go into the mission, yes, you need to.
Again we
uh,
need to enter all the passwords and all the
yes,
details.
exactly. Yeah. This is very similar to your laptop, right? When you try to open your laptop, when it will ask you password every time, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it is very similar to it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So any other questions?
No,
And
Srikanth, so
yeah,
far.
okay. And Mohammed, you wanted to like if you can share your screen and just show like where you have stack. I can help you on it. We can quickly close. We have 10
No,
more.
no. I'll see the video recording yesterday and I'll figure it out. If I have the question, I'll tell you tomorrow.
Okay, okay. And can you all create this EC2 instance
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the guys who didn't register for your examination, I have heard only one voice. Try to get that registered. And if you have any questions, let me know. Only then you'll get like a lot of concentration on this, right?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, if you have that pressure on you, then you can practice and listen to the class and all that stuff. So that's the reason I wanted you guys to register for the certification. Okay.
Okay, Srikanth.
Yeah, and even instances can please create any one instance and stop it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
and make sure you do it T2 micro and only 30 GB storage, not
Okay.
more than that. Okay,
Oh,
create it and
mhm.
stop it. And once tomorrow, when we have this class, we will go through all the consoles and see if you have done it right, or like I can give you more insights on how to do it better. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you. Bye.
Srikanth. Have
Yeah.
a good
Thank you,
day.
Shiva.
Yeah.
Thank you.